It's the springtime, which means the weather is finally warm again, and you may want to spend some more time doing outdoor activities, like, for example, camping. Now I've never gone camping, but that's okay. I'm a YouTuber. It's literally my job to talk about things I've never done, like I have some sort of authority over them. So today, we're going to cover some of the weirdest Cars camping products out there. In past episodes of the series, like weird summer, winter, and sports products, I've talked a lot about how companies just love to slap familiar characters and franchises onto pre-existing items in an attempt to get kids more interested. Why get regular beach toys for a kid who loves cars when you could get Cars-specific ones? And of course, with camping, an activity not only popular with families, but one that requires you to buy a bunch of specific items, yeah, they're going to make an absolute ton of franchise-specific merchandise for that. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Weird Products, a series where we take a look at the weirdest Disney Cars merchandise out there. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of the weird Cars camping items that you can get. So, let's begin planning our Cars camping trip. Now, we're going to start off our search for Cars camping products with easily one of the most important items you need for a camping trip: a tent. We're going to need a place to safely stay for the night. There are an absolute ton of Cars themed tents out there. We've actually talked about a few on the channel in past episodes. I covered 2 McQueen shaped tents in Weird McQueen Products Part 3, including this Cars 3 one, which looks surprisingly accurate to McQueen, and this Cars 2 one, which looks surprisingly not that. And as surprisingly good as this McQueen tent looks, unfortunately, it's not going to cut it for our outdoor camping adventure. You see, one of the big selling points of this McQueen is that you could stand in the top of it like you're driving him. This means that McQueen has a massive hole in his roof, and judging by all the pictures I've seen of this thing online, it doesn't look like there's a way to cover it up or zip it up. There is just a hole on there. So this isn't really going to work when we're outside. Personally, I don't want it to rain on me, so we're going to have to skip this one, which is a real shame. I really like this McQueen tent, except for the fact that, you have to crawl in through his mouth. This Cars 3 tent is about as generic as you can get, but it seems alright. It's just, I'm not sure if even a kid could lay down and sleep in here. You see, a lot of these Cars tents are designed to be indoor play tents, little things that you could use inside or outside, but while sitting. For a camping trip, we're going to need something that we can lay down inside. Now, this McQueen tent may very well work. This is pretty long. It's a much more realistically proportioned McQueen than the other McQueen tent, and honestly, it's also pretty tall. Whereas that other tent was just McQueen's body, this puts a whole little stand underneath him. It's like they realized that having the tent just be McQueen wouldn't really make it big enough to work as a more traditional tent. So they added this whole platform underneath. And yeah, I think it works. I think it works. And judging by how big this is compared to those 2 kids, a kid would definitely have enough space in here to sleep. But not me. I'm 22 years old and 6 feet tall. So for me, this looks a little more like it would be Lightning McCoffin. If you are, for whatever reason, uncomfortable with sleeping inside of Lightning McQueen, there are plenty of other Cars tents you could choose from. This World Grand Prix one seems like a pretty nice option. It's pretty generic tent shape, but one that a kid could easily lay down in, and it has some nice World Grand Prix themed graphics. Since I made a joke about not being able to fit in these earlier, I thought it'd be funny to see if I could find any Cars themed tents that an adult could easily fit in. And some of these, by kids' tent standards, honestly get pretty massive. I mean, look at this one. I'm pretty sure it's at least a couple of feet long each way, and if you crawled up in here, you may very well be able to sleep. Besides, I'm pretty sure it's larger than most studio apartments in New York City, so you'll be fine. Of course, you're going to need a sleeping bag for the inside of your tent, so why not pick this McQueen one? It's pretty recent and seems honestly pretty high quality. It even comes with a bag that you could fit it in. Lightning McQueen Final Lap. One of a kind, Lightning McQueen, or sorry, the bag cuts it off, so maybe we should be pronouncing it one of a kind, Lightning McQueen. This other sleeping bag is one that I genuinely really like. Just like the last one we saw, you could really tell this is a more recent product. The graphic design is genuinely pretty good on it. I especially love the Welcome to Radiator Springs bag that comes with it, with all the different characters and just a really nice art style for the Radiator Springs background. I also really like that this sleeping bag is themed to Cars on the Road. It's kind of perfect. You made a show about characters going on a road trip, so why not make some travel gear? I'm sure it's out there, but this is genuinely the only travel product I've seen themed to Cars on the Road. It's something that I think would have been pretty smart if they did more of. Up next, we have this Cars 2 era sleeping bag, probably post-Cars 2 era, which features McQueen, Francesco, and Rip Clutch Gonski. Wow, this guy barely ever shows up on merchandise, and now this is the second episode in a row that I've hosted where he's been on one of the things we take a look at. Good for you, Rip. Good job, man. But easily the weirdest thing about this item, other than the face McQueen is making, which makes me genuinely uncomfortable, is the tagline here. It says Formula Racers, which is pretty interesting. So clearly that's why Francesco and Rip were chosen for the sleeping bag. It's themed to the more sort of Formula One inspired Cars characters. Not something that we see all that often. Oh, and of course McQueen is there too, because just like in the upcoming Formula One diecast line they're doing later this year, you can't not include him. Cars merchandise tends to use random logos all the time just because they're graphics that are synonymous with the iconography of the series, but I don't think I've ever seen Cars merchandise incorporate the Formula Racers and Formula Racer logo that you see on the bottom of Francesco. This, of course, is the Cars universe's Formula One parody. Again, it's barely referenced, so it's super crazy to see this sleeping bag of all things incorporate it. Moving into the world of camping chairs, there are plenty. Those little foldable outdoor chairs that you could move around and, you keep them in a little bag. Continuing our theme of very specific World Grand Prix adjacent theming, this one is themed to the Neon Racers with McQueen, Raul, and Francesco. While we mainly remember the Neon Racers and the other Terro C series like the Ice Racers and such as diecast lines with, book and comic tie-ins, there are an absolute ton of non-diecast products for them out there, and again, this chair is just a prime example of that, right? Another case of just, hey, whatever Cars thing is new and relevant, put on that chair. There are so many of these Cars outdoor chairs out there. This one is more of a metal folding chair, but it includes McQueen and Mater artwork that I have genuinely never seen before, with a Cars 2 McQueen, Mater with him driving down this winding road. I really love the desert background here, but with how much Cars 2 and post-Cars 2 merchandise focuses on the whole around the world theme, it's honestly kinda trippy to see this Cars 2 character art driving down a desert in merchandise like we see with basically every other piece of Cars media. This Lightning McQueen chair from the company Picnic Time is another pretty recent looking one, and it seems like it's trying its best to be the ultimate outdoor chair. It features a fold-out side table with beautiful Lightning McQueen graphics, and on the other side we have 6 different pouches, with all of them being different types. There's a mesh drink holder, some other deeper ones that could probably also be used for drinks, some Velcro ones, and even one with a sideways zipper. The graphic design on this thing is great. I already talked about how nice the side table looks, but on the back you have the logo from Radiator Springs McQueen, which is super cool, and a paint job that isn't referenced often in modern merchandise. On the other side, you have a Rust-eze logo. It looks almost like McQueen's spoiler. The chair itself seems to be well built and well designed, and it better be. This better be a high quality product, considering it's $110. It's insane to me to have such a premium price for a portable camping chair. It's good, it looks good, and it's clearly designed not just for kids, but probably also for adults. But still, why spend that much for a Lightning McQueen themed chair? One that's not even going to be permanent furniture in your house. It's one that you fold up and take with you occasionally. Look, just be glad that we're not looking at the Incredibles chair, which is somehow $53 more than this. I mean, look at just how pretentious this picture on the chair's Amazon page is. It's shot from low as if it's looking down on you or it's better than you and there's some sort of heavenly light shining down on it. You're a Lightning McQueen chair. You have not reached deity status. Up next, let's find some sort of light source, some way to make sure it stays bright when we're out camping in the dark. Oh, I know what to do. Let's just get the $110 Lightning McQueen chair so we could all be bathed in its angelic glow. This Cars 3 camping set comes with both a tent and a lantern. The lantern sadly doesn't have any Cars theming to it, like not even a logo or a decal or a sticker or anything. This Cars lantern has about as little to do with Cars as the Lantern Show has to do with Green Lantern. Luckily, there are any number of Cars flashlights out there that you could find online if you want to use one of those instead of a lantern. But a flashlight or lantern isn't going to be the only lighting source you want on a camping trip. You're going to want to be able to start a fire so you can make a campfire. Now, I couldn't find a Cars-themed lighter, nor could I find a Cars-themed 2 sticks you rub together to start a fire. Look, obviously they're not going to release a Cars-themed lighter. Cars is a franchise primarily aimed at kids, and while they do make occasional Cars products designed for adults, in the modern day, themed lighters are a pretty niche collector's item. But luckily for us, this is the internet, and when there's a will, there's a way. I found this guy on TikTok that turns Lightning McQueen diecasts into lighters. Look, I don't usually cover fan-made items in this series, but this is genuinely one of the most out there, coolest things I think I've ever seen. This is a guy based out of California who runs a small business where he turns toy cars into functioning lighters. Don't let anyone tell you that your idea is too niche or too specific to take off. This is an insane concept, but I'd be lying if I didn't say the final product is pretty sick. But since this series only covers official products, let's buy this chair that says "Let the sparks fly" and hope that it isn't lying and actually creates fires. And there you have it, guys. This is another episode of Weird Products coming to an end. Thank you for joining me on my journey looking at weird Disney Cars camping items. Weird Products is one of my favorite series to make, and now that I've graduated college, it's one that I want to do a lot more often, so let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see me talk about in future episodes. I think some of the topics I covered here, honestly, warrant their own full episodes. I'd love to look at some more tents, so if you want to see that, let me know down in the comments, and maybe next time we'll dive even deeper into the world of weird Cars play tents. Anyway, guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.